Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Midweek Fix. This is the LFC Daytrippers. I'm Gav, and with me this week I have got Kev, I have got Chris, and I have got Emmet. Liverpool versus Newcastle is what we're going to look at tonight. We're going to look at how Newcastle might line up, how Liverpool might line up, what Liverpool need to do to go and win the game, how important it is, and we'll do some score predictions. We'll do some ads, which people love us doing. We will maybe talk about maybe a midfielder at the end, but I really don't want to. And then we'll all head off and get out of here. We're in the hour. Kev, how are you?
I'm all right, man. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Just enjoying all the transfer nonsense and all the good stuff that goes with it. It's crazy. Liverpool online at the minute is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
Way over the top for hot takes. Way over the top for one-liners. It's just.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it finishing. I hope we get someone, but I just want it fucking over.
Okay.
Sick to death of it. 7 weeks is too long.
Emma, how are you? Long time no see.
Yeah, I've been busy.
Yeah, you're a hard man to get hold of.
My own transfer deadline day is coming up, so I haven't really had a chance to look at any of these rumours. I'm getting all the information from the Telegram app. So I'm very rarely on Twitter. Trying to sign players from my own team at the moment, so I don't know much of what's going on. Thankfully, I'm oblivious.
Nice place.
It's a nice place to be.
Yeah, it is a nice place to be. Chris, how are you?
I'm great, mate. I've been enjoying these accounts, which just regurgitate tweets, and then the actual person who's regurgitated called them out saying, "I haven't said that. You've misquoted that. That's a load of bollocks. Put the link on here." And just watching all these accounts go, really sorry. It's just been there funny.
I don't see any of them because I've just recently got so fucking tired of everything that I just protected me tweets and start blocking people like a fucking lunatic, and muting people, and then even sometimes when you block something, it still shows up in your timeline.
It still shows up, yeah.
I'm like,
I've seen that.
So annoying about that.
So I'm nearly tempted if it shows up because someone's retweeted. I'm nearly tempted to block them as well.
I just WhatsApp them to Kev just to wind him up.
Yeah, and you know something, I'd nearly just prefer not to talk about football on Twitter. I'd rather just talk about literally. I was talking last week about what do you reckon the insurance premiums are in Ponty Pandy, because like there's always an emergency there and stuff like that interests me way more. But look, you can't have it all your own way.
Well, it's 4 minutes past 10 and Paul Joyce hasn't said a word.
Yeah, so. Well, it's 10:30 is the big time, and that's because I think once we announced something at 10:30 at night.
There's a fake tweet going around from Paul Joyce.
There's loads of fake Paul Joyce accounts. There's loads of them. But look, Liverpool play Newcastle at Anfield tomorrow night. It's an opportunity to get some momentum after that win against Bournemouth at the weekend. And I was looking through Liverpool's fixtures, and we've a tough run of fixtures coming up. We have to get on a roll here and start making up ground, and hopefully one or two above us slip here or there and gives us a chance to kind of just get closer to them and build some momentum. But Kev, I'll come to you first. I want to start with Newcastle because they were given loads of credit for what they done at home to City. I looked up. They had 12 shots in the game. They had about 90 passes in City's half. They had about 170 passes across the whole game. Successful passes. And while they got credit there, I think do they go away then and get a draw maybe, or after that away at Brighton maybe, something like that. But Kev, what way do they approach this? Before we get to Liverpool, what way do they approach it? Do you expect to see a Newcastle team that come in, be compact, try frustrate, and try hit us on the break as much as they possibly can? Or do you see a Newcastle that come with a bit of confidence where they say, you know what, let's go out and play football and have a go at this?
I think it depends on their lineup. It depends on who's fit and who's not. Mm-hmm. But I think playing us and playing City it suits Newcastle. Newcastle are like an awful lot of sides in the Premier League. They struggle, like we saw tonight. I watched the Leeds Everton game, and you saw what happens when sides struggle to break down a low block. Newcastle will come and try and press us high up the pitch and suffocate us at the back, where they can turn over the ball. And they'll rely on their ability to keep us out by pressing us high up rather than the other way around. Newcastle struggle when they have to make the game. Like an awful lot of sides in the Premier League. When they have to be on the front foot and make the game and break sides down, that's when they struggle. That's what happened against Wolves. When Wolves sat off them and said, okay, have the ball, but we're going to be compact and tight and we'll break on you when we can, then that's where they struggle. It's the sides like Liverpool that give you a chance, that leave your room behind, that give someone like St. Maximin space to go into. That's where they get their joy from that. That's why sometimes playing against a side like us, like City, gives these sides with pace up front more of a chance than what they ordinarily would have if we decided to turn around and do what, say, Man United did to us and say, okay, you have the ball. We'll take the ball off you when you come down into our final third and then we'll hit you. It's just not in our DNA to play that way. So they know how we'll set up. They know what we'll try to do. It's not difficult. But it depends on what they're able to put out on the pitch, if they're able to do it.
Yeah, rumour is Bruno Guimaraes is out. Wilson is out. Obviously, there's Maximum is touch and go. Trippier has a muscle injury, but should be okay. Isaac, of course, they're waiting on international clearance. He's registered, but they're waiting on international clearance, and they can have her up before 70 minutes before the game or something like that. So it is a case. But then again, if he makes it, does he start? Do they throw him straight in? Has he trained with them? I don't know.
Yeah. I watched him not last weekend, just gone the weekend before for Sociedad against Barcelona. Now, the scoreline was Barcelona won it 4-1, but it was late goals, really. Sociedad were in it for a fair bit, and he was a menace, and he was up front in his own, and he was a handful. He was a right handful. So he's had a good full pre-season with Sociedad, and he's played League. He's played.
I don't think it's fitness. I think it's more just being used to the players he's with and the team.
Yeah, I don't think they have a choice though.
Yeah, the international clearance hasn't come in yet, but I'm sure we'll hear on something on that tomorrow. Chris, Kev speaks there about Newcastle. It depends what players they can put on the pitch. The approach, the vast majority will sit back and try heroes on the break. But with those players missing, does that hamper Newcastle massively? Like St. Maximin is an out ball. Guimaraes is a really good player, and Wilson can run channels. Is it a massive hindrance to what he might try to do tomorrow night?
It is with St. Max because he is that bit of an X factor in the way he plays when he puts it all together, which to be fair against City he did. No fullback can deal with him when he's on top form. It's just whether he can put it together. Whereas I do think the likes of Fraser and Murphy are more traditional wingers, and I think you kind of know what to do there. I think with St. Max you don't know what he's going to do, and I think Isaac gives you more than what Chris Wood does. Chris will give you a focal point, but he doesn't give you the mobility. Whereas Isaac will give you a bit of both. He'll give you the focal point, he'll give you the mobility, and he's a better finisher. And Guimaraes is just a very good player. It's a player I'm surprised.
Really impressive.
Clubs bigger than Newcastle didn't look at him. Us, City, Chelsea, Arsenal. He gets to all those. He'd get games for all of us. Even City, I think he'd do well for them. So that's a little bit of a surprise, but so I'm quite pleased he's out because I think they're going to go over midfield probably Longstaff, Joe Linton, and Willock, which Joe Linton looks a different player since he's played centre mid, and Willock, it suits him being the third man runner for them. So it does make them a little bit like DM wise because I think if Guimaraes is out, they normally go Shelvey, but he's out till Christmas. So now you're down to Longstaff, who not that long ago they were trying to shift on. So
yeah, it's
fingers crossed it helps us.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Emmet, I'll give you the last word on Newcastle before we move on to Liverpool. They come into this. They'll definitely have confidence in them from the City game. They get a late draw away at Wolves, and they've struggled away, but they get a late draw there through St. Maximin, and they come to Anfield, and we win 9-0 at the weekend, but they're probably looking more so at the game where we played Palace. That's probably the Fulham okay and United okay, but Palace at Anfield is probably there. That's where they're looking to go. There's the blueprint. That's the absolute blueprint. But could they fall into a false sense of security if they went on that blueprint? Because I think a different Liverpool side could turn up tomorrow to what you've seen against Palace.
Well, I definitely I definitely think a different Liverpool team turns up, and like Kev and Bob Chris said, it really depends. Like you mentioned it there, they got a late win or late draw against Wolves because of Saint Maximin. They got a great result against City, which they wouldn't have got without Saint Maximin. So it all really kind of depends on him, and they don't really have anybody like him or even like Wilson to actually replace them to try and hit us on the break. So it is more of a Wood up front, or even like Almiron isn't even that kind of mobile. So I think the way they play will really depend on who they can actually put onto the pitch. And they may not be able to play us on the break. Or if they try to play like that, we're just, our back four is just going to soak it all up. They don't really have anybody with electric pace that can actually replace him. If he does start, you don't know how long you're going to get out of him. He has more bandages than a small hospital, the chap. Like, do you know what I mean? So you just don't know what you're going to get out of him. Yeah, I think if he starts, they'll go for the Palace blueprint. If he doesn't, I don't know. You could find him just sitting back. I don't know what their outball is going to be. Their outball is probably just going to be Chris Wood and hope that he holds it up.
Yeah, and hope that maybe the likes of Joe Linton or Fraser or whoever can run off that. But not Joe. No, Joe Linton can back him up. But Fraser, Almiron, whatever can run off that. But Kev, I'll come back to you because we kind of know where Newcastle will go. It may be to a different degree if the likes of Maximum plays or and Emmett's right. If he does play, how much will you get out of him? You could see him on the bench and he gets 25 at the end if they're in it or something like that. But Liverpool, we have to, as much as we have to talk about it, we have to kind of push aside what's gone on so far, including Bournemouth, by the way. I'm kind of the opinion that, right, Fulham wasn't good, Palace was okay, United wasn't good enough, really good against Bournemouth, but we have to forget it now. This is the next one, and we have to get back into that mentality where you heard from Liverpool players so many times over the last 4 or 5 years where they go, just on to the next one. We're only thinking about the next one, what's gone on before, forget about it. Liverpool going into this though, Kev, they need to replicate what we've seen at the weekend. They need to go in and say, right, we're Liverpool at Anfield, and we're going to go in and we're going to absolutely go for your throat from the beginning. Because I think if you let Newcastle settle into this game, they come across as a team that can set in and sit in and go, yeah, we'll be really solid now and we found our rhythm here. Liverpool really need to rock them early.
Yeah, it's vital tomorrow that if Bobby starts, he takes up the almost identical position that he took up against Bournemouth, where he's 5 yards off their centre-backs, not 25 yards, not dropping into midfield. If he's dropping into that, what you call a Bobby space, that drags everybody up to be closer to him. It's the same with the wingers. They have to be tight. They have to be looking to be on getting into the box at the same time. So your front three is like a really tight front three. And just give them something to look at. I mean, the thing is, the last time we played them, I think we won 1-0. And it was a tight game. It was
a tight game, but Liverpool should have probably won it.
We should have won it more comfortable, but as long as we take up the same positions and the same attitude, come out with the same attitude and work rate, then we should come out with 3 points. But you can't really take anything for granted in this kind of game. They're a good side, even with with what they're able to put out tomorrow night. Eddie Howe he's bought really well, especially across the back. That'll be a tough nut to crack, but I think once you can get ahead of them, then you can command the game and you can run it. But Bobby's positioning is important. Fabinho as well needs to be snapping at the tackles if he starts. The only thing, the quick turnaround, we're getting to that place now where Klopp would start rotating. If he had everyone fit, bar 1 or 2 injuries, if this was normal, you'd expect to see 2 or 3 changes per game minimum. but I don't think he has that luxury at the minute, where he's going to have to be playing more or less the same 11 from 12 players for maybe another week until the European stuff starts. So it might be the same 11 or close to it that have to go again. Now, they all should be on the high. Their confidence should be through the roof. Not just the goals, but the way they were spread around and the type of goals they were. They were, there wasn't really any worldies. There were really well-worked goals. And I was listening to his press conference today, and he talked about Harvey Elliott's goal being the best one because he was just in the space. And it was a nice finish and what have you. But he loved the fact that the midfield and the forwards were so tight and linked together that it made a massive difference to everything. So that's what I need to see tomorrow. Everyone in the right spot where they're supposed to be, but tight and together.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to be tight. We have to be together. We have to know our job. But Chris, when you look at Willock, Joe Linton in midfield, along with who was the third person I think you mentioned? Longstaff. You're probably looking at Longstaff being deepest of that three. Willock can most certainly travel with a ball, and will probably play left hand side. Maybe Joe Linton plays left hand side of that three. So Harvey Elliott, as someone said in the chat, will have to be wary. And Willock can move with the ball as well. So if Henderson plays there, which he'd probably go with the same 11 again, they have to be really on it. But where do Liverpool look to get at them? Like, I think Bourne plays left back for them at the minute. Dan Bourne, isn't it? He plays left back. He's 6'7". He's a huge unit. But I look at that and I say, you need to get Salah at him and you need to get him at him early. I look at Trippier and I say to myself, if he's a little bit of a doubt, I want Diaz on him. Like, literally, the first ball should be at Diaz and have a run. Just put it by him and just see what it's about. You mightn't get there. It might go for a goal kick, but I want to see him sprinting. I want to see him twisting and turning and sprinting. Bobby being important as well, the fullbacks. But where do we look to take advantage of these misses in the Newcastle side? Because I think if Newcastle are full strength, I think they're dangerous, but I think they're even more capable of sitting in and frustrating. So where do we need to get at them?
I think if Bobby starts, I would say off the ball, you need to tell Firmino just to sit on Longstaff or sit near him, because I think he can be clumsy. And I think Bobby, when he's at his best, that's what he was good at doing, is sitting on the defensive midfielder just to give us something. If he is going to drop a little bit deeper, not too deep, then you need almost Diaz and Salah to go front too and play a bit more inside. I think you want to get two centre backs, because I think Shah and Botman are good centre backs, but I don't think they're blessed with pace, and I think that's what we need. I mean, to us, this is a perfect game for Núñez if he wasn't a muppet headbutting people. That's the frustration. Is this game actually would have suited him, and would have. The only thing I think, if Klopp wants to rotate a little bit, is does he try Diaz through the middle against two centre backs who aren't the quickest, and start Carvalho wide left? It's a bit of a risk. I can't see him doing it, but it's something a bit different that you're not expecting. The only thing
my only thing is that I don't see Newcastle seeing a hell of a lot of space in behind them where you can kill them with pace. I think the only way you're going to kill Newcastle with pace is if you can get Diaz and you can get Salah one-on-one with their fullbacks, and that means that Trent and Robertson are going to have to do a lot of selfish running, making angles, getting out of the way and letting them get at them. That's just my opinion, though. I think he's about said stuff about Firmino there, and Firmino's position is huge, because as much as you don't want to drop him too deep, you need him in the box, Chris. You need him in the box, because it's all very well if they're not blessed with pace, but if he's at the edge of the box supplying Salah and no one's in there, they'll head things away all day.
Yeah, no, what I mean is if he drops on Longhurst to force a mistake out of him, but when he was at his best, he would do that forced mistake, but then he'd get it out to a Henderson or to a Salah, but then he'd break his neck to get in the box, which is what he stopped doing. So that's probably what he needs to. If you're going to drop deep to nick it, he needs to get himself and get his arse running and get in the box. Or Diaz do what he did for his first goal, which is when it's on the other side, it's very old school, cut inside and become the new number 9. And we've now realised Diaz is pretty decent in the air.
Yeah, he is. He's far from poor in the air. Emma, we spoke on winners and losers last night, where Andy had the audacity to try make Salah out to be the loser of the week. He actually done it just so we could have a chat about Mo Salah and where he thinks we should be looking for him this season in terms of numbers. But Mo Salah won't be looking back at that game on Sunday. He'd be looking back on 3 points, great, 9-0 win, but he'd be looking back on, should have probably had 2. Definitely should have had 2. And that'll play in his mind. And does that mean that Salah comes out a little bit more ready to rock tomorrow night? And maybe he's the catalyst tomorrow night where we want to get at Newcastle and he's like, let's get at them. I have to put those 2 misses from me out behind me from the weekend.
Yeah, look, he's definitely want to get on the score sheet. Like that, I don't know. I still don't know how he missed that when he was through 1-on-1 and just skied it over the bar. But I think it was more so his reaction to that when he turned around and okay, we were a few ahead, and he was kind of nearly laughing. Like, do you know what I mean? And not that he was making kind of fun of it. It was like it was good to see him that he was relaxed, and it was just like, I'll get the next one. Do you know what I mean? But he'll definitely want to come out and like 9 different scorers. Well, sorry, 9-0. 8 different scorers. Diaz got 2. So the good thing about that. Oh, sorry, Bobby got 2 as well. Sorry. But the good thing is that like you've got Salah, who we have been a little bit reliant on in the past, and there's 9 goals. 9 technically assists, and he wasn't involved in any of them against Bournemouth. So he'll definitely want to come out and put things right. I think we need to see what Chris was saying there. I think we see with defenders like that can be a little bit clumsy. I think we need to see a return to the fizzing the balls across the 6-yard box. And Bobby is deadly from there. So whether it's Robertson or whether it's Trent getting down each wing, we seem to have been lobbing our lazy kind of crosses, high crosses. We haven't seen much in the way of fizzing balls across the 6-yard box. Yeah. And with big, tall, awkward defender, that can go anywhere. One of them will put their toe on it and it'll go into the net, like, you know. So I'd put my neck on the line and say Salah gets maybe a couple of goals tomorrow.
I think it's interesting you say like the type of ball we want to play against them, because Botman and Sharl had things all day. And most centre halves will, you know, like as cultured as centre halves are. Like if you look at Thiago Silva at Chelsea, as good of a footballer he is, he loves fucking heading stuff. You know, he loves nothing more than getting on the corner of that 6-yard box and cutting stuff outward and heading stuff and, you know, cutting off lanes and stuff like that. And I said it the other night on the Fat Back 4. The likes of Diaz, Salah's quite good at it on the back post, but Diaz needs to turn. Diaz needs to watch Raheem Sterling. I mean that. He needs to watch Raheem Sterling in the sense of, where does this fella end up 9 times out of 10 when City have the ball 5 yards from the byline, anywhere near the box? Where is he? He's standing on the back post. He's no interest in hanging out wide. He's no interest in being on the edge of the box. He's standing on the back post waiting to make a move. And I think Diaz could pick up between 5 and 10 goals this season if he brings that into his game. We've seen his heading. And flashing balls across, I've no issue with. I just don't want those floaty ones. And Henderson's a fucker for it. Where they just let's play it back to him, and he tries to whip this one in, and it ends up floating in the air. And keepers come out and get it. Defenders head it easy, and it ends up being one of those where we fall into that trap of continuously doing it. You know, and there's different ways to get at Newcastle. I agree with Chris that the centre halves aren't blessed with pace, and maybe the way you do that is you get, you know, that run from outside to in from the likes of Diaz and Salah, where they actually take the full back over and then they try pin the centre back with the run and make them make a decision. I think that's where we can really get at them. I want you to.
It's getting a big centre half. You need to get him to turn. Yeah. That's what you do.
Yeah. Or you need to get him when you've centre halves that just want to stand on that penalty spot and head stuff. You need to put doubt in their mind. And what I mean by that is he going to cross it, or is he going to play a little slide real pass and I have to move? You know, and when that happens, where am I? And all, then you want Elliott, you want Diaz, you want Firmino, you want anyone in that, even Henderson coming in there and just piling in. I'm not saying everyone running the boxes, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, you know, we'll have one at the back. But what I'm saying is, if you get them out with a rhythm, or if you get them out there, because they're going to try to set themselves in a phase of play that just is constantly like, feed them out here, feed them out there, make them cross it, wherever it might be. We're probably not giving them enough credit because I think Newcastle do play football when they get it. But yeah, we have to vary what we're doing. But I think the centre half stuff is important. You need to make them make decisions. You know, if Fraser and Almiron play, they're going to come back and help Dan Bourne, and they're going to come back and help Trippier. So it's going to be really congested there. And what happens? You usually end up with Henderson hitting that fucking ball that he hits, and it does me head in. And that's when they eat that up. And that's when they'll try win a second ball with Joe Linton or whoever it might be, and then look to spring. So yeah, a variety in what we're doing, which means we have to be brave on the ball, and I think Fabinho will be crucial to that as well. He's brave, where his passes are brave and puts players into position. I want you all to pick a player to watch out for in this game. I want you to pick out two. I want you to pick out a Newcastle one and a Liverpool one that you think will have a big effect on the game tomorrow night. You can do them both at the same time. Kev.
I think for us, I still think Fabinho is vital to how we play. If Fabinho is on it, he stops the counter attacks. He allows others to make forward runs. He's everything for me at the minute. If he's not on it, they'll be able to get runners off of him. And the one thing, Laszlo's point that was up there was really good. They're a very big physical side with a lot of height and strength. And if you give silly fouls away in dodgy areas of the pitch, Kieran Trippier is a very good set piece, and they'll have targets to hit. You know, for the size of our squad, we're normally a pretty high, pretty tall squad. These guys are a lot bigger, and that's one thing we got to be careful of. Is for us, I think going forward, Fabinho, for them, Kieran Trippier. Okay. Kieran Trippier has to stay on the pitch for 90 minutes. His set piece delivery is up there with anyone, and he's really on form at the minute.
I think with Trippier, there's a lot made of him going forward. He's a really good footballer, Kieran Trippier. Like, there's no doubt about that. Going forward, there's an awful lot made of it. But I think his experience at the back has helped Newcastle. When I watch him, you know, looks very organised, looks very cool, doesn't get dragged out of position. I think he's kind of had an effect on players within that team, and I couldn't agree more. I think Fabinho is huge, and I think Trippier is huge. If either of you two other lads want to pick those players, you can. Chris.
Thanks, Kev. For us, I'm going to go Joe Gomez, because I think this is his little run of games that he's going to get now with the injuries we've got. And if you and Newcastle, you're naturally going to pull onto Gomez because you're not going to pull on Van Dijk, despite the fact he's not in the best of form. And if there is a weakness in Gomez's game, it's that ball over the top of him. That's still probably the area that he sometimes can fall foul of. So, but I also think what Gomez gives you is a real directness in passing, and he can pick the tempo up. So I think Gomez could be a key one for us. Plus, it's Borise and Salah all the time, so I'll go with Gomez. For them, I'm torn between two, but I'll go with Nick Pope, because Nick Pope is just a keeper who normally has good games against us. He's a good keeper. Yeah,
he is a good keeper.
He probably should be England's number one, to be honest. He's better than the little dinosaur they've got in goal at the moment.
T-Rex.
Who saw a shot straight at him and watched it go in. It was brilliant. Great goalkeeping. And then tried to claim he was couldn't see. He's probably not the best with the ball at his feet, so, and I don't think Newcastle will play it as a way to keep passing the ball back to him anyway, but if they did, he'd put pressure on him. But look, he's just a really good shot stopper. He can be pretty commanding, and that's a step up Newcastle have needed for years, is a goalkeeper that you can trust. And he's a decent communicator as well, so I'll go with Pope for them.
I think Pope is a really good goalkeeper. I think it's a good signing with Newcastle. It's an upgrade, but on Boydham, and he'll stop more shots than Dubravka. Simple as that, and that's his job. Doesn't matter if he can't kick the ball. Well, he can kick the ball. It's just he's not fucking Maldini in goal. Like, he's not Pirlo in goal, and not a lot of them are, in fairness. Gomez is an interesting one. Gomez, I hope he plays really well. That's a very obvious thing to say, but I want Joe Gomez to play really well, where we turn around and we go, Yeah, Konate's back, but Gomez is playing really fucking well here. And Klopp has that history of saying, no, he's playing really well, he stays. You know,
I'd love him to get back to the level he got when we won the league.
Well, you see, if he gets back to the level, right?
Nobody else gets in.
But not even that. I was thinking about it today when I was looking at the fixtures because they're just piled in, like home, like Champions League. We've Chelsea in there, we've Arsenal in there, we've City in there in the next whatever amount of weeks, right? And what I was thinking was, if he gets back to that level, brilliant. Because I think there's actually more scope where you could actually rotate the four of these, right? If they're all fit, and do you remember last season when we had Van Dijk and say Konate, and we were going, will it be Matip, will it be Konate? And then we're going, if one of them's out, Gomez hasn't really played and he's coming in. Where if you have him at this level, it's even more condensed now. So it's not like, you know, Gomez is playing and then you won't see him for a week. He could literally play on Wednesday, be a sub on Sunday, come on, you know, play the following week. I think it's crucial he continues playing really well and gives Klopp not only a decision to make, but for his own confidence that he knows that if I'm called upon at home to Rangers or away to Ajax or whatever it might be, he's absolutely on it and he's going to get loads of chances because there's fucking games every 3 days, like.
The unfortunate thing for Joe Gomez was when Van Dijk did do his ACL, he was the one that was playing left-sided centre back, and he was grown into that, and he's actually starting to be a bit more of a leader, where he was bollocking Adrian for being a dickhead and trying to run through him, and he's so unfortunate because then he snapped his knee with England because he was becoming that one going, well, you do need to rest Virgil. He's the most natural one to play on the left, and then because Konate and Matip both look more comfortable on the right, neither look particularly comfortable on the left. Gomez probably looks the most comfortable left out of those three. So again, it gives you another option. The good thing for if Konate was fit was you could be in the situation where you'd have Konate Champions League, Gomez for the league. You'd be sound.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like I think for Gomez and for the team, if he plays really well, it's a huge step up in confidence for everyone around where you're going to go, oh, he's back. We know he's back. We've seen it. And as well as that, all the games, I think everyone's going to get a chance because last season you were kind of playing the three where they were mixing it. I think there's actually a shout to mix the four with the amount of games coming between now and when that bleeding World Cup starts. Is it the middle of November? Middle of November?
Yeah, middle of November.
It's the start of September. And we're talking about this World Cup. And we're going on with the league. How are they getting all these league games in? It's fucking mad, but I know it. I read it earlier. But
from now on, it's 2 games a week minimum. From here up until
we have a game every
3.8 days. It's 19 games in 73 days.
There you go. And yeah, well, Emma, who are you picking?
Well, for Newcastle, I was going to say Trippier for the same reason as Kev. He's kind of their catalyst from set pieces, and they're a big team. Bourne, Botman, Schär, Joe Linton. So the last person you want on a set piece is probably someone that can stick it right on their nut. For us, I'm torn between Elliott and Diaz. I'd like to see now that Diaz has got his 2 goals, Elliott has got his goal last week. Elliott's probably been our player of the season so far. I'm not sure whether anybody would disagree with that. He's the only one that's really kind of performed consistently. So I'd like to see how he's going to actually now kick on from getting his goal, kind of nearly cementing his place in the team. And I'd love to see him kick on. I'd like to see if Diaz can prove Phil wrong and get more than 5 goals this season.
I think he has 3. And like, he had 2 and Phil probably said that, did he?
No, 1.
Well, 1. And he's like, you won't score more than 5 goals, don't you? That's just cantank herself, fucking he knows.
But, I'd like to see Elliott kick on.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's plenty in our team that need to back up Bournemouth that maybe hadn't performed this season so far. So it'll be interesting to see. And then, like Kev said as well, I think Firmino's probably a massive. Like looking even back at the United game, I was in the pub with Keith. I've never watched a match with Keith before. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
shouting at the telly.
Yeah, he goes fucking mad. He does.
But there's a big, massive hole in the middle of midfield. And that's where Firmino should have been sitting, and he's out on either wing or whatever.
It'd be interesting for Elliot, though, won't it? Because this is a game tomorrow where he will have to look the other way. Not just going forward, we will have to look the other way probably a bit more than he has this season.
Yeah. If he plays.
I think he plays. Yeah,
I think so too.
Johnny says, all this talking up in Newcastle, no need for LFC to turn up. No, I don't agree. I think we've given Newcastle plenty of credit for what they've done. We've been realistic about our players. But I'll give you my prediction in a few minutes, and you won't think that at all. So don't worry about it. The embargo stuff is out from tonight. I have a couple of comments on that, which we'll get to in a few minutes. For me,
groundbreaking.
I think Trent is key. I think he's huge. Not only for himself, again, a bit like Gomez, where he hadn't the best start to the season. He gets a great goal at the weekend. He's really good at the weekend. In what he needed to do defensively and going forward. I think he assists that own goal, actually, doesn't he? And he gets that goal himself. But I think teams will look at him. They always do look to get in behind him. And probably a bit more now where is he getting a bit of criticism? Maybe, just a bit. Or a bit more than he would usually. But I think he's key where you say, you know what, be brave, Trent. If that's won't be Almiron, it'll be Fraser if he plays that side. But whoever's on that side, you make him go back. And if he wants to be extra brave and stay up that pitch, absolutely, that's fine. But you're going to leave Dan Bourne in a serious situation here where Trent, Elliott and Salah are going to be absolutely running at Dan Bourne and Sven Botman. Okay? So I think Trent is big. I'd love nothing more than to see Trent just do everything he needs to going forward. Supplying balls, doesn't have to assist, doesn't have to score, but be rock solid defensively. And when they're on the break, intercept stuff, muscle fellas over, get it back, get us going again, and get a real buzz about him. Because I've seen a little bit of a buzz coming back into Andy Robertson at the weekend, and although Trent scores, I just want to see that again from Trent. For Newcastle, Joe Linton, I think he's huge in all aspects of what they're going to do tomorrow. He was signed as a £40 million striker, from what I can remember, number 9, right?
Yeah.
From somewhere in Germany, I think it was, right?
Hoffenheim.
Yeah. And it was like 40 million quid, he's a striker, and we were like, no, he's not. No, I've watched him. He's not a fucking striker. He's now in the middle of midfield for Newcastle, and I think he's huge because he's actually defensively really good. He gets into very good positions to break up play for Newcastle. I think that'll be key, especially if Elliott wants to drift, Diaz wants to drift. I think
he's become very Dirk Kuyt.
Yeah, he's really hard working in the middle of midfield, but there's a bit more to him than Dirk Kuyt. I think he's actually technically a good player. I think carrying the ball, he's very good at, and Newcastle may need it. And I think he might be the man that they look to walk off Chris Wood if Chris Wood starts up front, where he's going to be the one to try join in and get it, because he used to be a striker, so he knows what a striker's going to do to try get it to him. So I think Joe Linton will be huge from tomorrow. But look, we'll wait and see. But there's a load of players that we could pick for tomorrow. But overall, we're going to get lineup predictions. We're going to get score predictions in a couple minutes. And we're going to talk about the fucking midfielder for a few minutes because everyone fucking wants to. Before we do though, I have a few ads that I want to shout out. As I'll say it, we've said it before, I'll say it again. We do these ads, we read them out, and it helps us to bring you content for absolutely free across YouTube, all podcast apps. We put all these shows out every week. They're absolutely free, and these enable us to do that. So the first one is BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online therapy setup where someone you know, may need to talk to somebody now or in the future, where you might be struggling a little bit in life and you might need to talk to someone. BetterHelp is really good for you if you want to go and check it out. You can do it online, you can do it on camera, you can do it, you don't have to be on camera, you can phone, there's loads of different ways to do it. It's a lot cheaper than face-to-face therapy. You can be matched with a therapist within 48 hours. And look, people will probably look at us reading this out going, what? On a football podcast? Yeah, absolutely on a football podcast. Because people in the world, no matter what they do, no matter what they do for work, no matter what they do out of work, sometimes you need to speak to somebody. Sometimes you don't have people close to them that they can talk to. So this is one that we took on and we really like reading out. BetterHelp.com/Daytrippers. So that's BETTER help.com/Daytrippers. You will get 10% off your first month with BetterHelp. IPVanish is a VPN service that protects your data, your passwords, everything on the internet while you stream or while you search the internet, whatever you want to do. One touch of a button on your tablet, your laptop, your desktop, whatever it might be, will protect you and keep you secure online. Rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. It's one way just to protect you as you're going on the internet and you need to protect stuff and you don't want passwords or anything like that, or anybody getting near your private information. IPVanish is a VPN that can help you with that. If you go to ipvanish.com/daytrippers, you will get a yearly subscription for $38.44. I'm nearly sure that's right, but in my head I can see $38.44. That's a 70% reduction over the year, and there is a 30-day money-back guarantee on that. If you're not happy, but Keith has signed up for it and he likes it, so take Keith's word for it. What else have we got? We have Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus are streaming every Champions League game this season, starting on the 6th of September. Every minute of every game, extra time, penalties, whatever it might be, Paramount Plus have it from the 6th of September. Don't miss a minute of the Champions League. Head over to Paramount Plus now, and you can sign up there for the Champions League season, which is going to be an absolute belter, judging by the groups that come out in the last week or so check them out. And the last one I want to give a shout to is weareliverpool.ie. Weareliverpool.ie is a lad called Gavin, believe it or not me, before anyone fucking starts.
Gavin Doyle as well.
Yeah, his name is actually the same as mine. It's actually the same as me, but he's way better looking, I heard.
The yin and yang of Gavin.
Yeah, and he's on the other side of the city as well. But look, weareliverpool.ie is a company that's run by Gavin that does Liverpool merch, t-shirts, caps, beanies, some really nice stuff, I have to say. Some of the nicest beanie hats I've ever seen. And to be fair, he's got his new order in today. Some of the stuff looks absolutely amazing. I've seen Trent stuff. I know he does Jota, he does Van Dijk, he does Klopp stuff, loads and loads of stuff. We're actually bringing out our own Trippers one in the next little while through weareliverpool.ie. It's going to be a Trippers one, and you know, there'll be only a certain amount of them available, so if you want one, you're going to have to get in quick. But if you go to weareliverpool.ie, check them out. It's really, really, some of the stuff is really, really nice. That's all I can say to you. And winter is coming, and these hats are the business. I have a Naby Keita one, and I have a Virgil van Dijk one, and I'm definitely going to invest in one more because
I bought one up.
Well, my son keeps robbing them. He's 2, and he just thinks this is the business. What is this thing on the top of this hat? And he has a lovely timer. So we're Liverpool.ie if you want to check out stuff. Likes the t-shirts and caps, but for the winter coming, the beanie hats are the business. Line-up predictions. Liverpool line-up, of course. Go on, Chris. I'll let you go first.
I think the only change is Simicast comes in for Robertson.
From the weekend. Okay, nice. Simicast, of course, gets 2 assists at the weekend.
Yeah, I just think it's a way of keeping at least one player fresh for the derby. So I think that's probably the only rotation option we have.
Good stuff. Okay. Emmet.
I think he goes unchanged. Same lineup against Bournemouth.
Yeah. Okay. Tom Bowling says Paramount Plus is deadly. I have it well worth $10 a month. Top notch coverage. There you go. $10 a month.
€7.99. I checked it the other night when you're on there.
Yeah, $7.99 a month. Cool. And I'm presuming there's more on it than just the Champions League. So there you go.
And if you've got Sky Movies, you can get it for free. Yeah. If you've got Sky
movie package,
you can sign up to it for free.
Good stuff. You're going and change them, eh? Good stuff. I'm good at that. Yeah. Kev, you usually come out with a few changes.
No, I'm not convinced that Elliott will start, depending on the knock he took and how important I think he's going to be over the next 3 to 4 weeks. I wouldn't be a bit surprised if Carvalho started instead of Elliott, and then maybe if push comes to shove, you can always drop Elliott in for the last hour or for the last half an hour at the end if you need him. But I think Carvalho's done more than enough to gain a start. But yeah, that would be the only change, and probably switch Henderson out onto the right with Joelinton on that side. I think he'd matched up Joelinton physically a bit better, and Carvalho on the left could be very helpful with Diaz link you up with Diaz to target Trippier.
Okay.
I thought it was interesting the weekend when Carvalho came on and Elliott went off. I honestly thought that Henderson would come back over to the right, but he actually stayed left and left Carvalho on the right.
Yeah, because I think what we go back to this midfield three where the one on the left is usually a bit more controlling in what they're trying to do. Now, can Henderson control a game? Yeah, some he can't. But Thiago usually tries to control a game with the one-touch passing, the vision, the way he can get out with different passes. And then our one on the right is usually the one that looks to break, you know. And for a while, it used to be the other way around, where you'd have Henderson on the right and the fella on the left to be more attacking, the likes of Jones when he got a chance, Keita. But it's kind of switched over now. And I just think he loves that dynamic of Elliott over there with Salah. I think he really likes that. But I can't see many changes. I can't, I kind of get the Simicast one though. I think he goes same 11. I think he goes same 11. You have Darwin Núñez can come back at the weekend if need be. Jota starts training on Thursday apparently, so you may see him in the squad. And midfield, Matip is back training. Yeah, it's just a midfield because you know what he has there is what he's going to have there for me come the weekend against Everton. Maybe, I think Jones is back in training, but I don't know how far down the road he is. But if he's back in training now, he should be ready for the derby. So, no, I think you'll see the same 11, but maybe one or two more options on the bench. One or two more senior options on the bench, i.e. Curtis Jones will probably get in there. Matip might come back in there. So, I think he might stay with the same 11.
Has anything been said anywhere about Naby's injury and what it is? If there's been a scan done, anything, any kind of.
I was told that nothing shown
injured
up on the scans, and he's not injured. It's a Coutinho 2.0, is what I was told.
I think so. Which is why I think
if it's Coutinho 2.0, is he leaving the club in the next 48 hours? Because he surely can't keep this up till fucking January.
He has no right to be Coutinho 2.0. Coutinho is in the form of his life and could maybe try and hold the club to ransom. Kate is not in that position. I don't.
No, but what I'm saying is, regardless of what situation he's in,
yeah.
If you're going, if Naby Keita isn't happy at the club, you don't do it a week out in the transfer window. Do it in the fucking middle of July. And go, oh no, I'm not worried. And they go, oh listen, you've loads of time to get out of here. But 48 hours away, and the window was closing here.
Eunice is making a point there. Klopp didn't mention it in his press conference.
Yeah,
I find it notable that not one journalist mentioned it either.
Yeah.
So have they been told to just don't ask because we won't tell you, or what? Because that's just nuts.
It wouldn't surprise me if you heard on deadline day something along the lines of Liverpool signed Tielemans and we've fucked out off the other way. Oh, we've sent him to Germany because it just feels to me more like there's been a falling out.
Yeah.
It was the embargo stuff before the Bournemouth game. Sorry, Chris. It was a lad that would have has credentials. Let's just say said that Naby's not injured. There's nothing shown up on the scans. It's a Coutinho 2.0. Is what his exact words were. Well, so that's maybe why
he needs to get out of the club, and the only thing you could look at is they could do something. Where does Lima play? Who's he play
Leipzig.
For? RB Leipzig. It's Naby's old club.
Yeah, maybe something that I'm not saying it is, but like, come here, you can't be doing it. It's 2 days the window closes.
You can forget a new contract. I mean, whatever contract was on the table should be wrapped in Vaseline and shoved somewhere into an orifice.
It makes you start wondering, was he actually sick that time that they said he was sick? Do you know what I mean?
The words from Klopp was he was unwell, then he was 100%, and then it came and he said all of a sudden yesterday he broke down.
He fell out.
Yeah, I don't know. Right, anyway, score predictions, because I want to get out of here in the next 10 minutes. So, score predictions, you know the rules. If Liverpool score, you must name the scorer. Emmet, go first this time.
I will go 3-1 Liverpool and Salah 2, Diaz 1.
Okay. 3-1 Liverpool, Salah 2, Diaz 1. Okay. Kev?
3-0. think Virgil gets one. I think Bobby gets one, and Diaz gets one.
Okay. Chris.
Fuck's sake, both my scores are gone now.
You
I'll
can
go
go the
4
same.
what? No, you've always said to me you can't go the same.
No, you can go the same if you want. I'll let you go.
I'll go 3-0 then. 3-0. Salah get 2, Diaz get 1.
Okay. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I'm going to go with Salah and
Keita.
No, I'm going to go Salah. I kind of want. No, I'll go Salah Firmino. I'll go Salah Firmino in a 2-1. Eunice has 2-1 Salah Diaz, and he has maximum scoring for Newcastle should he play. 2-0 Salah and Diaz, says Megan McCallion. 3-0 LFC, but says Sam Tandy, but 10-0 LFC realistically. Don't know what's going on there or what drug Sam is on at the minute. Tom Boland 5-1 Salah 2, Diaz 1, Elliot 1, and VVD. Evening Red says Red Steve, we're smashing these 6-0. I like the predictions. I have to say, I like the predictions.
I think it's massive that the game is at Anfield.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
especially if they are kind of down bodies. The St James's Park crowd will get them up for the game. I think it's the fact that it's at Anfield is going to be a big factor in it.
Wade Nelson has 2-0 Liverpool. Bobby and Trent. 3-1 Salah says bonkers. 3-1 Liverpool says bonkers. Salah, Diaz, Fabinho. Curtis has 3-0 with Salah, Diaz, DVD. Laszlo has 3-0. Jonathan has 2-1. Don't think we're fully flying yet.
And Neil's put, I heard Naby signed up to IP Vanish. That's where he is.
1-0 Salah penalty. Now.
I'll give 3 points. That's all I care about tomorrow night.
Yeah. So
yeah,
look,
my heart would like an easy game though.
Yeah, we're going to finish up with a little talk around the midfield. I'm literally restricting this to 7 minutes because I'm going at 11 o'clock, right? So here we go. Oh boy, not him. In the chat, he has put up 2 comments. It says here, Klopp says, we are going for a midfielder who decided to go to another club, which can happen. Some players are not available at this moment, but for us, it's really interesting. Now we can make a decision if we bring someone in. Is it the right one? I'm not 100% sure. Right? Of course, this is all in relation to the midfield and possible signing. And we've seen Klopp say last week, yeah, he was the one kind of pushing to not sign when he felt he may have been wrong. People were right. Then he comes out earlier on today and said, look, I'm backed by the owners. Sometimes I would like to take more of a risk, but I don't make them decisions. And of course, then that threw everything back on the FSG. It's like, he may have said it was wrong, but they won't fucking spend the money anyway. And it's become an absolute fucking circus, to be honest with you. One, I'm trying to ignore and just trying to... I nearly want to get to the window whether we sign someone or don't, where you can kind of evaluate it then. But I swear to God, social media is an absolute fucking cesspit at the minute over this. Like, it's just so many fucking things, like, this and that, and you have to take sides and you have to do this and
I think sometimes they want a disagreement. They want to build a divide that's not there.
No, look. At the end of the day, it's very simple. Liverpool should sign a midfielder. I think everyone, like, if I got 100 people, right, like family fortunes, and asked the fucking question, I reckon 99 people would say, yes, they need to sign a midfielder. That's not in doubt, right? We don't know anything that's going on in the background. We don't know if, and this, before anyone fucking starts, this isn't making an excuse for anyone. We don't know if the player we want is available, a player wants to move, the club that maybe want a player or two off, whatever, 2 clubs, 3 clubs, aren't asking for extortionate money, which is very fucking likely because when you look at some of the signings going on, we don't know if Klopp wants one and is not doing one. We don't know if FSG just won't put the money up or do you want to. We know fuck all. Very simple, right? Now, at the end of Thursday night at 11 o'clock, we will know if Liverpool have a midfielder or not, right? And then let's evaluate it. Then look and go, we signed one, he's good, yeah, great. Or we didn't sign one, I think it's a bit fucking mad. But let's have a measured fucking discussion about it. Let's not go on like fucking children where we go, this and fucking, it's absolutely insane what's going on, right? But I'm going to ask the same question I asked you, don't I? There were 2.5 questions I called it, but I'm going to ask, the questions are, Do you think Liverpool sign a midfielder by Thursday night? Who would you like it to be? Who do you think it will be? Right? If they do sign one, by the way. Chris.
Ever optimist, I'll hopefully say yes, we'll sign one. I would have liked it to have been someone of the ilk of a De Jong or a Ruben Neves, who's got a bit of quality about them. My gut feeling is, if we sign someone, it'll either be a loan signing or it'll be someone of the ilk of a Tielemans who will try and shop in a year's time. And I think that'll just be to replace Naby, who I think might get shopped the other way.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is not great.
Now, Lennon says something here, and I think it's very, very, very important to read this. He says, the following people are responsible for Liverpool not signing a midfielder: John W. Henry, Mike Gordon, Jurgen Klopp, Julian Ward, and the entire LFC recruitment team. That is absolutely spot on. Every single one of them are responsible if we don't sign one. Are they right if we don't sign one? I don't know. Are they wrong? I don't know. But that is absolutely spot on from Lennon. Okay? Sean P. Casey doesn't think we'll sign one. Tielemans' name is thrown up there. Douglas Luiz is being thrown up there. Is this the fella off Villa?
Apparently he's going to Atletico Madrid. Have bid 20 million for him.
Oh.
I think that's what the talk is. I don't think he's not word after him. I think Madrid want him.
Oh, okay, cool. Gary Mark says 9-0, Van Dijk to get 8 and Alisson to get 1. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Emma, do we sign one? If we do, who would you like, or who do you think it would be?
As we get closer, I don't think we're going to sign one. I would like to sign one. I don't know who I would. I don't know who I would want.
No, I've just seen on social media. No, apparently the rumor is in Portugal we actually have offered 20 million for Douglas Luiz.
Off Villa.
Yeah, whether that's true or not, well, doesn't inspire, does it? To be honest.
No, it's a weird one. Anyway, go on, Emma.
I don't have anybody in my mind. I was on record on the Fatback 4 in the messages the other night saying that Neves I didn't think was mobile enough. He gets around the place. I just don't think he has the engine to play in our team. And then Tielemans. And then I went and actually looked up stats and compared Tielemans to Wijnaldum. In Wijnaldum's last season. Now I know it wasn't his best season, and he had more interceptions. He had a lot better stats than Gini. I think we could end up with a Tielemans or a Neves, but I would prefer us not to buy anybody than to buy somebody for the sake of buying it. If that makes sense.
I do like Neves though.
Yeah, it depends what way you want to play. Kate says to sit 3 months of planning and only come up with Tchouaméni as a single choice on the list. I don't think that's the case though. And there's so many nuances to what's going on here. Like I think I've said it. I think the Ox injury absolutely kills us. But listen, let me see. The Telegraph says Marcus Barnes have said an unnamed Premiership club are in for Douglas Luiz. And Sam reckons he's a weird feeling getting Tielemans on the cheap. The Villa podcast destroy. I'm presuming that's Douglas Luiz every week. The Villa podcast is brilliant, by the way. If you don't, just listen to it. You don't need to be a Villa fan. Just listen to it. They're fucking great, the two lads. Kev, do we sign someone? If we do, who would you like? Who do you think it would be?
I well and truly would love Ruben Neves. I think he's absolutely exactly what we need. Okay. His passing, his distribution is A1. His shooting from outside the box is always a threat. His dead ball is brilliant. And he can play in a 2 or a 3 because he plays in a 3 for Portugal and he looks at home in it. The thing is, there's so many moving parts in any transfer now, at this late, that any selling club is going to want to get a replacement. That replacement they'll want to get in under the radar before anything is announced to a big club, irrespective of whatever deal you're looking at now. Otherwise, you will get fleeced. And the one thing that is 100% nailed on, we will not get fleeced for any player because it sets a bad precedent for future windows. Look at Manchester United and Anthony. I agree with Emmet 100%. I'd rather get no one trying to put out fires and get fleeced on someone you're not really convinced of. I think Neves is a perfect fit for us. I really genuinely do. I think he'd be He's 24 years of age. He knows the league. He's experienced. You could have him for 5 years. He'd still be 29, and he would grow with the club. I cannot see a downside to it.
Before he left Porto.
Yeah, I cannot see a downside to that move whatsoever.
I just
Will
don't
it
think
happen? I don't know.
I don't think Liverpool will pay the fee for him.
No, Kate says, Gav, I'm saying that they haven't milled for anyone else other than Tchouaméni. Yeah, but I think they probably wanted one in and one out this summer, and that one out got injured, and we can't get him out now. And that's part of it. I'm not saying we can't overcome that hurdle and make a signing, but maybe they just, I get where you're coming from. There should be 2 or 3 on a list, but we don't know who number 2 are, and we don't know who number 3 is.
The problem is, Gav, you're looking at the club, right? To improve the midfield that we have and to maintain the standards that we're looking to get at, the list is short, especially when you look at who's available. And those selling clubs are either going to want to keep those players because they're in title challenges themselves. Inter Milan with Barella, Bellingham with Dortmund. He's now their club captain. They're not going to want to sell him unless they get a world record fee, which, let's face it, paying over 100 million for a midfielder is a world record as far as I know. It doesn't happen. So you're limited really on what's actually out there that would be your preferred choice. And
I think that's why the Tielemans. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, O'Boyne says Arsenal are supposedly going for Tielemans. They're supposedly going for Tielemans about 6 months, in fairness.
Yeah.
Kevin Miller says, Lennon, the people you're blaming signed Salah, Mane, Firmino, Suarez, Henderson, Coutinho, signed Klopp. We missed a few midfielders. What's your point? I think his point is, I don't think he's having a go. I think he's trying to point out that instead of you just deciding if you're on one side or the other regarding the ownership or Klopp on his comments, or you have to work out it's a team of people that do this, and they all take responsibility for the good, and they will all take responsibility for, not signing the midfielder, and they might stand by that responsibility and go, no, it wasn't right, we didn't do it, but they all have to take it as a team. That's the point I'm always making. They do good as a team, they make signs as a team, they don't make signs as a team. You know what I mean? They take the plaudits for players we bring in and progress and turn into world beaters as a collective. They have to do it that way. And I don't think he's having a go, Kevin. I think he's just trying to point out that instead of picking one side or the other, there's so many fucking parts to this and so many people involved that you can't just nail it down to, is it John W. Henry or Jurgen Klopp?
They're all culpable in different ways.
Yeah, but they're all part of it.
I mean, Anto Chill made a point that I've made in the pod before, which is Arsene Wenger in his heyday had a David Dean who and it's well reported, David Dean's admitted it, I think Wenger's admitted it, David Dean would occasionally lean on Wenger to say, if that's who you want, we'll get him. Don't worry that it's more than you think, we'll go for it. And maybe that's where, long term, that's where a Ward, because I'm sure Edwards did this, but maybe that's where Ward's got to have that power. Sometimes, the Klopp doing the, I was right, you was wrong. That might not just be at reporters, that could also be at the recruitment team, who may have been bringing people to Klopp, who've now gone because we left it so late. So maybe that's a learning curve, the new dynamic of the recruitment team, which is sometimes it's been a bit strong on Klopp to say, that's who you want, let's go for him. And look, it's vice versa, because Klopp said we should take some more risks, so maybe as a player Klopp has identified in the past that he thought it's a bit of a risk, but let's go for it, and they've decided it doesn't fit into whatever the algorithm is that they buy things.
But you're gonna have parameters at the start of every pre-season where you go, listen, we've no problem putting the money up for this guy, but we can't have fucking 8 of them there and you want to bring in another one. One needs to go. The sort of way. And the money, there's no problem with that. And I understand the argument where people go, well, hold on, all right, there's 8 there, but look, the situation we're in, just bring the fucker in. And the fella that we have to get rid of, we're just going to have to eat his contract. We'll have to pay him off or just eat it up and take our medicine for 9-10 months. And I completely get that. But I still agree with what Lennon said. It's a collective, and you can take sides if you want. I don't really give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to make a difference to my day. But I think it's better to sit down maybe on Friday morning and go, right, okay, they signed someone, great, we got there in the end. They didn't. And even if they do sign someone by Friday morning, you still go, why was it left if you wanted? Because the only situation that's really changed here is in 6 weeks is not even Ox, because he's gone ages. Right, it's only Naby Keita, and you could probably foresee that anyway. Do you know what I mean? So there's just loads of ways to talk around it. I just don't get the kicking and screaming.
Is that the easiest solution though with Keita? We spoke about this before coming on. So Lamar, or whatever way you pronounce his name, didn't start for Leipzig tonight. Didn't come on in 5 subs.
Yeah.
Keita came to us from Leipzig. So they both only have a year left up on their deal. They're both out of contract next summer.
Yeah.
Is that logistically the easiest deal to do? Some sort of a swap deal, so they're actually getting a replacement for the player that they're losing.
I think the easiest to do is Tielemans, because I'm getting the impression Leicester want him out.
I tell you what the easiest one to do is. It's Conor Gallagher off Chelsea. And I'll tell you why. Because what?
I don't think Chelsea sell to us.
Why?
Because they'll see us as a rival. They'll see
so well Mata when he's at the height of his power to Manchester United.
But Man United, where they were then, were nowhere near where Chelsea were at the time.
But they're still a massive, massive club. And Mata was a fucking massive player for them.
I think it said more about where United were at the time. Because I think they were like, we're happy to sell it to you.
I'm not too sure. I think, and I'll tell you why. They're using him as a make weight. They're trying to use him as a make weight in this deal for Anthony Gordon. Him and Broha, right?
Yeah.
I can't. If they're trying to make him a make weight and he's not happy there, Liverpool walk in the door and go, listen, there's 40 million quid for him. Right?
We've done it with Ox. Right? It's possible. Yeah. He's young enough.
Conor Gallagher can turn around and go, I want to go there because I'm just letting you know, I'm not going to Everton in any make weight deal. And that's the end of it. I think it's the easiest one to do. Like, people are saying Chelsea won't help us, right?
That's the reason I don't think. It's not to do with the player. I like the player.
They've thrown a shitload of money at this window. Conor Gallagher is not the first choice there, right? He's been out on loan twice. He's come back. He's still not first choice. He gets sent off at the weekend. He's not gonna play an awful lot for Chelsea when push comes to shove, right? Chelsea, forget all this fucking Tuchel this, Tuchel that. That fella that's walked in there spent a load of money. If he thinks he can get 40 million quid back on an investment of Conor Gallagher, that's probably, I don't know, they come through the ranks at Chelsea. He probably look and go, that's a nice little sweetener at the end of the window to take down our fucking net spend or whatever it might be. I don't go along with all this. You wouldn't sell him to this, wouldn't sell him to that.
Yeah, I think business is business when it comes to these American owners.
I get that, but
it's any owner.
I think with what they'll do is, I think they'll sell Gallagher to Palace for Zaha. Because the talk is they want another winger. I think they've given up on Gordon and they'll go for Zaha, and that's actually a nice easy switch.
Yeah, no, Laura Duffy says the same. I just think if I'm Liverpool, look, I don't know if it's happened or not, and it will happen or not. If I'm Liverpool, I'm ringing Chelsea tomorrow and I'm saying there's 40 million quid for Conor Gallagher, and I'll tell you what you can do with it. Everton aren't getting Conor Gallagher anymore. They're getting Broha and they're getting 50 million now instead of fucking 30 because you 40 million quid in your back pocket that we've given you, and that player doesn't want to go to Everton anyway. You know, all this.
Tell you one thing to watch with Douglas Luiz though. If Atletico Madrid are interested,
Atletico or Real?
Atletico.
Right.
Atletico haven't got a pot to piss in, and Atletico have to sell a player to bring him in. Watch out for what happens with Mateus Cunha and or
the other fella's great,
Marcus Llorente.
Yes,
the other one is the only one out of Spain, out of any one of them, that I would say that Jurgen Klopp would go, yes, please.
Yeah.
The other one is,
if that was anywhere near possible, because Atletico are really suffering money-wise. They're so restricted in what they can do with this window that they need a big shed load of money in. And also, what's going to happen with Ronaldo?
And isn't Carrasco there, and he's been linked with Spurs as well? So Rodrigo de Paul says Sam.
Rodrigo de Paul. Yeah. Apparently they've not been. He only started his first game last night. Before that, he's barely been used. But he was a big money signing not that long ago. Again, he was another player who was heavily linked with Liverpool at one point.
Yeah, but Mateus Cunha, I think, is the Brazilian number 9, false 9, that we could actually have a look at. He'd be another one.
Well, look, it's all gonna it's all gonna unfold.
But it all depends on moves that happens elsewhere.
Yeah,
well, this is the thing.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see. Tom Boland reckons we offer a smeg toaster and 30 million to Chelsea being done for Gallagher. I'm all over that.
You've seen the price of them toasters?
Yeah, well,
28 million.
Yeah, Andy will donate his because he has a few apparently. And to be honest with you, they're shy because he just sent toast all over the room. But the springs are too fucking tighten them. Anyway, that has been the midweek fix. Tomorrow, are you two boys doing the full-time Reds tomorrow? Haven't asked anyone.
I suppose we are now.
Are you doing it?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Kevin Chris are doing full-time Reds at 10 p.m. tomorrow after Liverpool versus Newcastle. Thursday will be Viewers' Voice. I don't know. I won't ask Emmet to come in now because he's a hard man to get hold of. But Thursday night will be the Viewers' Voice, and it will be the last
I'll do
hour.
it with you if you want. I'll do it with you.
Well, we'll sort it out. That'll be the last hour of the transfer window. That's what we're going to look at. That we're going to talk through, or I might even be on, but they're going to talk through all the different comings and goings at the clubs while keeping a live update on what's going on in the transfer window. That's Thursday. Friday will be Premier League forecast with the lads. Saturday will be full-time Reds after the derby, and Sunday will be the Fatback 4. And then we're back into next week. Anything else before we go, Emma?
No, all good. Just looking forward to the end of the window.
Me too. I never wanted anything to slam shut more in my life. Kev,
Roll on tomorrow night now.
yeah,
Just
cool.
looking forward to tomorrow night's game. Another
stuff.
3 points and move on to Saturday.
Yeah. Red Steve says Atleti are playing Griezmann for 30 minutes at a time so they don't have to pay the full whack to Barca, which is insane. How a player goes along with that is
So-
fucking madness.
so
Chris, anything else before we go?
no, nothing from me. We're sick of me and Kev. I think we're on loads this week, aren't we, mate?
Yeah, you're busy this week.
We're busy boys this week.
Fucking, you had about a month off, Chris. No one fucking seen you. Couldn't get hold
They were
of you.
made up. Sure, the chat was made up.
You weren't answering calls or nothing. No, I'm only messing. The lads just happened to
Red Steve's
fall into
comment there. And he gets them down the market. Smug toasters.
Yeah.
That's probably what I'd
Notions
get.
toasters. Before we go though, Bobby's Wish to Walk link is in the description. We have, as I've said before, we've stopped all ways for you to contribute money to this channel. We've shut it down. You can't do it. It's impossible. So if you are insistent that you would like to help this channel, go into the show description, click the link for Bobby's Wish to Walk, send whatever you're going to send to us in there, and he gets 100% of it instead of us getting 70% off YouTube, and we can get him to 150k. He's not far off it now. It's a brilliant treatment. It's brilliant surgery he's going to get. It's brilliant aftercare he's going to get both in America and back in Ireland, and he will progress. And you, like, honestly, the difference you see in Sienna to where she was this time last year to this time to now is unbelievable, and we want to do the same for Bobby. So that's the most important thing overall. Forget fucking signings, lineups, scorers. Getting Bobby to 150k is the main thing. It's the main goal here. So check that out as well. That has been it. We'll talk to you in a bit. Over and out.